If you want to buy a really cool car, you don't necessarily have to go out to a dealership or buy from a big brand. Some people prefer to make their cars themselves. Homemade vehicles are getting more and more common over the years, and thanks to new technologies like 3D printing, it's easier for people to make vehicles in their own homes than ever before. In this video, we'll be taking a look at some homemade vehicles. From a diesel-powered all-wheel drive motorcycle to the world's fastest bumper car. Here are 10 homemade vehicles that will blow your mind. You don't want to miss this. Number 10. Pulsejet Bike. A motorcycle is basically a bike with a motor. It's literally in the name. However, the category of bikes and motorcycles is very different, but this one YouTuber decided to combine the two while still staying true to the bicycle form factor. But instead of attaching a regular motor to his bicycle, he decided to add a literal pulse jet to its side. Pulse jets are these flame-creating jets that can be used in heating, certain fighter jets, and on many other things. But they've never been used on a bike before. YouTuber NitroCam1 uploaded a video showing off the Pulsejet bike, and it showed how the bike was able to go faster than some regular motorcycles, and it even had a badass flame to top everything off. The bike also happens to be extremely loud, which can be a positive or a negative depending on who you are. Number 9. Diesel AWD Motorcycle. You might be used to having an all-wheel drive on things like SUVs and larger cars. Well, have you ever seen a motorcycle with AWD? Well, feast your eyes upon this unique motorcycle created by Choppertown. Based on an 840cc Yanma, Choppertown decided to completely transform this bike into something the world has never seen before. They added an intercooler from Suzuki Swift and 2 RHB31 turbochargers. The wheel motors on this motorcycle are turned by hydraulic fluid, which is what gives it its AWD functionality. It has a top speed of around 98 miles per hour, which doesn't really make it the fastest bike in the world, but it's certainly fast enough to blow your socks off. Perhaps the coolest thing about this bike is its aesthetic. It looks like no other bike on the road while being super pleasing to look at. Number 8. Cheral Eight. Cheral Auto is a YouTube channel that makes all kinds of incredible homemade vehicles, and one of their coolest inventions is the Cheral Eight. This is a vehicle that's meant to be like a homemade F1 car, and it does it well. The Cheral Eight is made entirely by hand. Everything from the steel frame to the exterior took weeks, if not months, to make. If there's any vehicle on this list that stays true to its homemade nature, it's this one. The only thing in this car that wasn't homemade was its motorcycle engine, which can easily be bought. Overall, the end result is something that's a bit retro and modern at the same time. You won't see Max Verstappen driving this around, but you might just see the next Verstappen do so. Number 7. Sofa Car. Do you ever find yourself sitting around on a sofa all day long? Well, your problem is about to get a lot worse if you happen to get this vehicle. Ed China was one of the people who had a sofa problem. His solution for this was to make his sofa be capable of literally going outside of the house on wheels. The sofa car has the body of a literal sofa, but it also has a capable engine inside it that's able to drive on the roads. Ed was seen driving around the streets of London, driving around on his sofa car and getting things done. Of course, it also attracted a lot of attention from passerbys, but that's all part of the whole package. The coolest thing about this is that it's street legal and it even has its own license plate. Number 6. PUBG Bus. PUBG is one of the most popular video games on the planet. One of the most iconic parts of the PUBG game is how you have to skydive onto the map from a bus, and the bus has become a symbol of the game overall. Well, now, this bus actually exists in real life. West Coast customers got together with Xbox to create a real-life replica of the PUBG bus in 2018. The bus had an Xbox logo on the grille and a green lighting theme to go with it. West Coast Customs made sure they added every single element of the bus in the game to the bus they created in real life, and they did a fantastic job at it. The replica was actually given away to a lucky fan at the 2018 San Diego Comic-Con. Number 5. Electric Boat. Even though making your own car is a relatively recent concept, humans have been making their own boats for centuries at this point. At one point in history, it was the main way people even got their own boats. This one German YouTuber not only decided to revive that concept, but he also took it to an entirely new level. Using some readily available spare boat parts, he constructed a vehicle that's able to drive on land in all sorts of terrain, whether it's sand, mud, or pavements. But when push comes to shove, his vehicle can also go into the water and act as an electric boat. It's one of the world's first homemade amphibious vehicles, and when combined with the joys of German engineering, the result is this. Number 4. PodRide. The great thing about bikes and motorcycles is that they're very versatile and fit into tight spaces. However, they don't really offer you the same level of protection a car would. The solution? Mix the two. That's exactly what this man decided to build the PodRide. This is actually an e-bike that has the form of a car. It can protect the rider from all kinds of different weather conditions, but it's actually a very capable vehicle in and of itself. The PodRide can even go off-roading, which is something you definitely wouldn't expect from a vehicle that's so tiny. It's able to do this because it uses dirt bike wheels and engines. Overall, you're not going to win any dirt bike competitions on this thing, but it's amazing what people can build all by themselves. Number 3. Colomban Cri-cri. Cars and bikes can be built at home because they generally have readily available parts that you can buy from mechanics. However, building an entire plane is a completely different story. Despite that, a French aeronautical engineer named Michael Colomban decided to at least try to build his own homemade plane, and this was all the way back in the 1970s. But he didn't let that stop him. He spent years coming up with all of the different parts, and eventually, he made an entire airplane called the Colomban Cri-cri. It's able to fly, do acrobatics, stunts, and a lot more. Number 2. The Doom Buggy. Off-road vehicles are best left to the professionals to build. However, that doesn't mean they can't be built at home. This one YouTuber decided to build his own vintage dune buggy called the Doom Buggy, based on the same vehicle from the 1970s. This vehicle is street legal, capable of off-roading, and to top it all off, it has a Chevy V8 engine. The engine is liquid-cooled, which makes it a lot more reliable than how dune buggies used to be. But if you thought that wasn't cool enough already, the creator of this vehicle decided to add an actual 100-pound bomb from World War II. Let's just hope there isn't a chance for it to explode. Number 1. Bumper car. For many of us, bumper cars were the first cars we ever drove. Because of this, a British engineer named Colin Furze decided to keep his childhood magic alive, while also trying to make it better. He customized a 1960s bumper car and completely changed up all of its internals. In the end, he managed to create a bumper car that was able to go at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour. This officially made it the fastest bumper car ever made. If you need a comparison to how fast this vehicle truly is, the average bumper car has a speed of just 5 miles an hour. This vehicle is 20 times as fast as a regular bumper car. Alright, which one of these vehicles you'd want to create yourself? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to TechJoint, and we'll see you in the next one.